ASI or WOS journal. So I'm not going a long speech today. So I hope that today, our workshop today will go smooth. And I really hope that our staff and students from UTEM can raise a lot of questions to our speaker. So again and again, remember our tagline, UTEM is Melaka and Melaka is UTEM. Again, I'll pass this session to our MC, Prof. Anand. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for our Dean of FTK-MP, that is Faculty of Manufacturing and Mechanical Engineering Technology, Associate Professor Dr. Omar, for his presidential speech. Before we actually start our today's session, let me introduce a bit. I'm Prof. Anand. I will be as a moderator for today's talk. And please allow me to invite you all. I heard that some of them are also outside UTEM or even in the overseas. I will just briefly tell what PM Dr. Omar already explained a bit about our university. Okay, so our university, University Technical Malaysia Malacca, is located in the historical city towards between Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, in the midst of Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, Malacca. So this is what he even mentioned, the tagline, Malacca means University Technical Malaysia Malacca, or UTEM is in Malacca. So we are one of the 20 government universities or public universities in Malaysia established in 2000. And this is about the government public university. And also we are forming under Malaysian Technical University Network, MTON. And we are the first technical university in Malaysia. We are located here in Malacca. And then this university established in 2000 we have about 9 faculties, as just now our dean also highlighted that. And we have about more than 15,000 students in our campus, and all over the world we have about international students at both degree and also master's level. We are also privileged to have our lecturers from all part of the world, not only just in Malaysia. Okay, so our university is a technical university mainly focusing on engineering related programs. And being an engineer or being a scientist, it is necessary for anyone to be published or convert their research input into the journals. So this is what we are focusing mainly on these days. So converting our research input in the form of either a journal manuscript or innovation products, etc. And today we are very happy to welcome Dr. Ong Hwai Chuan. He is actually a fellow Malaysian and young Malaysian talent, now globally welcome. So please allow me to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Ong Hwai Chuan. He is actually currently affiliated to School of Information Systems and Modeling, Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology, and he is from the University Technology, Sydney, Australia. And for your information, he has more than 152 publications in the well-reputed journals. And then his citation is alone about 5,068 with a H index of 38. And Dr. Ong Hwai Chuan obtained his Bachelor of Engineering with honors in Mechanical Engineering from Faculty of Engineering, University Malaya with distinction. Then he obtained PhD in Mechanical Engineering from the same university, University Malaya, in December 2012. His research interests are wide-ranging under the general umbrella of renewable energy system. However, his main interests are energy and fuel, green technology, and environmental sustainability, solar thermal system, and energy efficiency and policy. As I just now mentioned, he has more than 150 high-impact journals with a H index of 38. Just to highlight one of his very high achievement, he is listed as highly cited researchers for 2019 in engineering by Clarivate Analytics. Also in 2018 and also 2017, he received the Malaysia's Research Star Award, Frontier Research, And in 2016, he received the Malaysia's Rising Star Award. He has so much other awards, and also he's acting as a editor as well as associate editor for the high impact journals. Without further delay, I invite the speaker for today, Dr. Ong Hwai Chon. Sir, the floor is yours now. Thank you.
Hi, a very good morning to all of you. So actually here is already 1 o'clock in Sydney. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you, the UTEM, the University Technology Malaysia Melaka, to inviting me to share about my publications experience. So actually, prior to the University Technology Sydney, I was working in the University of Malaya. So I just moved to the University of Technology Sydney. So wait a minute, I share my screen first. So yep, can you see my screen?
Yes, can.
Okay, yeah. So today I want to share with you about how to get published in the engineering and technology journals or publications. So I would like to have this talk a bit more casual and interactive. So my talk will be maybe just 1 to 1.5 hours. Then after that, we're following by the question and answer, because I also want to know the feedback. So what would you like to know about the publication in engineering and technologies? So without any further ado, I would like to start my talk today. So this is basically the outline for my talk today. So first of all, I would like to share with you what make a manuscript is a good manuscript. So how we can consider one paper or one publication is the good paper or good manuscript, or then after that, what is the proper article structures, high impact journal structures. Then after that, I will also share with you a little bit about the overall review process and editorial process. So what after you submit your journal, so how the overall process. And lastly, I also will talk about little bit about the impact assessment about the journal. So whether the high impact journal is important or the quality paper is more important, which one is more important? So to give you the overview of the publications, so this is okay, overview of the publications. So currently there are more than 35,000 journals published in all the index journal. So out of that, only 22,000 of them are indexed in ISI, Web of Science, or Scopus Abstract. Then 1 year, we have published more than 2.5 million articles. So there are so many paper are published every year. But bear in mind one thing, only out of this paper, only 50% are cited by others. So more than 50% of paper that published even in ISI or Scopus Index journal are never received any citations. So this one is you must remember. I find I cannot change the slide. Okay. So out of this, out of this 50%, only 90% of reader go through the content list of the publication only. I mean, and only 5% of this open of them is open the journal to review through the title. Then only 2% of this article published go through they are go read and go through the extract and instruction. Then the rest is less than 1% are reading throughout the whole paper. So that means we need to think why we need to publish a paper, because only 1% of the paper that we publish are read by the other readers. Why we want to publish the papers? So what is important? Why we need to publish? So the first reason is we want to get the greater visibility of the research finding to increase the chance of citation. We need to get the citations. Then after that, we need to get the greater recognition among the peer. Then the other benefit might be you want to get the promotion, get the grant, get the allowance, get the benefit, and all the other benefit. But what is the most important main motivation that force you to publish? Because this one is very important, because what is the purpose of publication? We must bear in mind. So I found that there are some disturbance because I frequently listen the sound. So can you hear me clearly or not?
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes,
sir.
we can. Clear, clear.
Oh, very clear. Okay. Because I frequently listen the sound, disturbance sound. Okay. So what is the main purpose or main motivation make you publish? So the main purpose should be, for me, it should be dissemination of the innovative idea or new discovery in science and technologies. This is the main idea. And then we want to make some contribution to our society. We need to cultivate the next generation mindset, the new mindset, innovative mindset. But why we want to publish? What is the main purpose we want to publish the article? Maybe we want to advance in the certain field. You found any new discovery, new technology that can help to contribute to the society. For example, you found invent a method that can improve the energy efficiency, maybe even by 1%. The 1% will create a huge impact, because by imaging, if the energy consumption can be saved by 1%, the total impact might be very huge to all of us. So this one, we want to add one in the certain area that our expertise in. Then another reason is maybe we want to get some research funding, because with the publication, the research owner or research founder will find you, because before we can secure any grant, the evaluator or the funder need to know the background of the researchers. So through the publication, they can know this expert or certain expert is the expert on the maybe the renewable energy areas, or in certain areas. Then of course, most of all, we need the career perspective. We want to get the job, get the job, academician job or tenure job, or get the promotion. This maybe might be one of your motivation for you to publish the paper. Then we need to get the recognition by the peers, or we need to fulfill the university vision and mission, the university ranking, quality, to have the quality research, reputation, and etc. For example, for me, I share my experience, because I obtained my PhD in University of Malaya. So when I first joined the PhD in 2008 in University of Malaya, my supervisor was Professor Mazuki and Prof. Indra Maria. They asked me, you must publish in the high quality papers. So from there, I've been trained how to publish the high quality papers. So what is the importance of publishing the high quality paper? How to publish the high quality paper? How to write and draft the proper research grant? Then from the grant, from your ideas, and after we obtain the grant, then how we turn this idea into the experimental work. Your new idea, the new innovative discovery. And after that, we obtain some new result, very interesting result. We want to turn that result into the publication to let the world know what is your finding. After that, we correcting all the data, then put in the proper figure and tables. And after that, we draft the paper to be published in the high quality journals. So this is a little bit sharing about the motivation to publish. So after that is how we can consider one journal is high impact or low impact, or this has the journal or the manuscript or the paper have high invention or low invention idea. I want to give you an example. For example, the left photo. This one is the Newton. I guess all of you know who is the Newton. He found the law of gravity. He discovered the law of gravity after see the apple fall down from the tree. Then after that he think, why the apple can be fall down from the tree? Then he try to discover the theory, what is the principle and theory behind. And at the end he found he discovered the law of gravity. This one is the very new invention or innovative ideas, because before that we don't know what is the law of gravity. We don't have any idea. The world don't have any ideas what is the law of gravity. Is discovered by the Newton. So this one is considered very high impact innovative ideas or inventions. While another researcher he found that the orange also can fall down from a tree. And he said, this one also have the correlation with the law of gravity. Then he go to find out the theories. What is the theory behind? What's the principle behind of this orange can be fall down from the tree as well. This one also can consider another discovery as well, but the impact might be lower compared to the first one who really found or discovered the law of gravity when there are no any principle behind that before. So this is how we're going to identify what is the impact of your ideas. Then from this idea we can turn into the full screen. Okay. Turn this idea into the reality, so that our contribution can be we can contribute to the society with our works. So what type of manuscript can be published in the high impact factor journal? For example, the work that established with the scientists, the real scientists, the well-known scientists, because they already have the various experience on the certain areas. So if you work together with them, maybe from there you can discover or improve some of the discovery from them. Then after that, it's a result of the general interest. I mean, the certain topic that really can gain the impact from the society, from the public. For example, currently the world facing the what? What is the main problem? The environmental problem. Because we have 1,000 tons of the biomass waste. So in my study, the most of my study is turned into this bio waste or biomass and biomass waste into this some useful product. For example, I can turn into some useful biofuel or biochar or even biogas. So with this idea, I can kill two birds with one stone. First, I can solve the environmental problem, because environment really cause a very huge impact to our society. So all the waste go to the landfill. It will cause the what? Greenhouse gas. But with the innovative idea, we can turn this all biomass waste into this some useful product. From there, ideas are getting the general interest. So this is this idea can be published in the high impact factor journals. Then the novelty of finding, whether your idea is significant or not. This is an innovative idea or not. I mean, previously, have the same people or same researchers or same scientists doing the same work with you or not? Whether you are the first one to recover the idea or not. So what is the improvement you can make? So this one is very important. So that's why we need to go through the literature study. What is the background of your idea? So what is the drawback? What is the problem statement? What can you improve from that? Then after that, most of all, we must have the precise and well written. So any good idea, what of any good ideas of the research must be turned into the well written proper paper or articles before we can accept it into the high impact factor journals. Turn your ideas. Of course, this one is very important. So that's why I put it very first slide, first start before I go into the real topic, how to publish the high impact journal paper, the ethical problem, the ethical responsibility problem. This one is very important and crucial. So that's why I want to put it here and discussing here before I go to the main body. So, because consequently, very dependent on the misconduct and the journal, institution, and founding body involved. So that's why, what is our responsibility or our ethics before we publish a paper or articles? We need to declare clearly whether the research outcome have any conflict of interest for anyone or anybody or any institution or any university or any individuals. We must know, we must clearly define that what is the potential conflict of interest. Then second, we need to know clearly what is the ethic and responsibility. So before you send the journal send the paper to the certain journals, before you submitting your papers, you must tick that you must obey their ethic and responsibility of the journal guideline. So you must clearly know what is their guideline, because for example, after you submitting a paper to the certain paper to the certain journals, I mean the copyright is belong to them already. This one you must clearly know that what is the ethic and your responsibility. Then the creation of common licensing terms, like for example, licensing term or right permission. For example, you obtain something that require license, and you must obtain the right to use the license and terms before you conduct certain research. So web posting guideline. Yeah, what is the guideline for the certain journals or certain publisher? That's a different guideline. So all of you must read clearly what is their guideline, the right and permission, because this one is the right and permission and copyright issue. Because after we publish our words in the article in the certain journals or publishers, the copyright is belong to the publishers. So we cannot reuse again the even your own figure that already published. You must get the permission from the publisher. So normally the publisher will granted you the right and permission to reuse back or redraw back your figure. So this is very important for you to obtain the permission on copyright before you want to republish your figure that already published. This one must be remembered. So what is a highly cited paper or high impact papers? What is the criteria of high impact papers? So before accept the paper, you need to think why you want to accept the paper. Is it interesting? I mean, before before you want to submit the paper, not accept, I mean typo. Before submitting, you think why you want to submit the paper? Is it the new and interesting paper? Is it the current hot topic? So is the paper provide the solution to the certain different problem or not, difficult problem or not? So is it your manuscript, or your paper fulfill the guideline or not, the aim and the scope of the journal or not? So your manuscript ready to be published at this point or not? If yes, you only proceed to the peer review process. So you must you before before we prepare your paper and send to the process, you must ask yourself these all questions. Then the flaw is here. Here the flaw to write a paper. So first, here is the problem. I mean, we have the problem. For example, I just give you the example just now. We are currently facing the environmental problem caused by a lot of the municipal waste or agricultural waste or various waste or wastewater. So that is the problem. Is the problem interesting or not? I mean, crucial to the society or not? You have to you need to study back the literature study whether the problem is interesting or not. Then the problem, whether the problem is already solved by other people or not. So what is the remaining problem statement? Then what is the problem you want to solve? So what is the solution you want to provide? Then from there, your idea is came. Your idea is came. After your idea is came, you conduct through the survey, the experimental work. You turn in your idea into the real applications. Then after that, you need to detail out how is your idea can be worked to solve the interesting problem that unable to solve by the previous researchers. So what is the improvement that you make out from your ideas? So what is how is your ideas is different with the other researchers? What is the improvement you have made? So what is the significance of your ideas? Whether your ideas can really solve the problem with more cost effective or not, or can reduce the time consuming to process the certain waste problem or not. Whether your solution is very significant to the society or not, it is able to help the society to solve the certain problem or not. This is the flaw before we start to conduct any study or research. So after that, you need to think what type of, because think over your goal. What is your goal? I mean, what type of the articles or manuscript you want to publish? Because we have various type of the articles. So who is your target audience? Then which journal you need to publish? Because this one is very important. Sometimes, if even you have very good article, but you send to the wrong journal. Even the journal has very low impact factor. It's wrong journal that might not match with the aim and the scope of the journal. Your paper might be rejected also. So to choose the proper journal is also very important. It's not really depend on the impact factors of the journal only, but it's also need to see whether the scope your paper or your research area is within the scope or not. So you must know. So from there you must know who is your audience. Because for the certain journals, they have the certain audience group. So the type of article, as I mentioned today, are the various type of articles. For example, the first one is the reference conference proceeding. Sometimes after you attending the certain proceeding, the conference host will we recommend some of the article to be published into the journals. So this one we call it reference conference proceedings. And after that is the full length paper. The full length paper is the most common type of the article that we publish. I mean, this is the full length research article that conduct some experimental study of your idea to disseminate your new discovery or new ideas. Then we also have the communication technical viewpoint and letters. These all type of the article is normally the length of article is much more shorter compared to the full length paper. Sometimes you just want to give the idea or opinions of the certain issues without still you still not complete the full explanatory work yet, because you found that one idea is very interesting. You want to communicate to the world. So that's why you can write the communication or some technical notes. Then we have also the data bank. Sometimes when we conduct a certain survey, we have a lot of the messy data, but you organize this messy data into some useful and proper data bank. So that's why we also can publish that type of the article as well. Then the last one is about the review paper. Review paper normally is related to the comprehensive literature review about a certain topic or certain technology. For example, you are working in the thermochemical conversions. You are the expert in the thermochemical conversions. So you already have the various experience about that area. You want to write something about you are expert in the pyrolysis process. So you can write something to review some article about the pyrolysis or about the pyrolysis process. What is the pro and con about the pyrolysis process based on the previous literature study. So this one is considered the review papers. Yep, as I mentioned just now, we need to select the best journal that's suitable for your manuscript. To your manuscript. Because you need to how to choose the best journal to suit your manuscript. The most easiest way is by looking at your own references. You see from where your references, most of your references come from that journal. So from that, you can scope down the list of the journal, the potential journal you're going to send. After that, you review all the recent publication in that journal, in that candidate journal that you already figure out. Then you find out the recent publication, whether the hot topic they published in the paper is matched with your scope and aim of your paper or not. Then after that, you ask yourself questions. So is it the journal is a peer review journal or not? Then who is the journal audience? This one is very important. You must know who is the journal audience. After that, what is the average time to print or for review? Because some of the journal might take up to year to publish article and for their review process. Some of the journal, maybe they just take 1 month to complete all the review process. So you have to know what is your timeline. So maybe you want sometime maybe you want the paper to be published immediately after 6 months. So the review process journal that took more than 1 year might not suitable to you. Then lastly, now you can ask yourself, what is the journal impact factors? But journal impact factor doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that this one I will discuss later on. This is only give you an guideline. What is the ranking of your journals? Then the last sentence, this one is very important. Decide on one journal only. Do not submit to the multiple journal. Don't submit one article into the multiple journal. This one is again the ethic of the publications. Don't even submit to the multiple journal at the same time. What I mean here is at the same time. And if the paper is rejected by the certain journal, yes, after you improve it, after improvement, you can send to other journal for consideration. But as long as the journal is under consideration of the certain journals, your articles, you are not allowed to be submitted to other journal unless the journal is already, or the paper or the manuscript is already officially withdrawn or rejected by the journal. So now I start slowly starting going to the point how to write a scientific paper. How to write the scientific paper. Before you start writing, you must ask yourself whether the data is sufficient to support your conclusion or not, to solve the certain problem or not. The data is enough. I mean, we need to know. We need to know how many parameters are needed for the certain journals. Certain journals. So that's why before you start, you need to make sure the data that you obtain or the result that obtained is enough for the one full-length articles. Then you have to look at the typical journal in your field. So how we need to judge whether the data is enough or not. Because for the experienced researchers, right after they conduct the experiment, they will know whether the data they obtain is sufficient for one paper or not. Maybe the data is a lot. That one is sufficient for 2 papers. So they will know. Then for maybe the young researcher, you might not know. So you have to refer back to the typical journal in your area or from the journals. From the journal. By reading the article from that journal, then you can know whether the research that conducted under your research area need how many parameters. For example, how many parameters, how many set of experiments. So what type of set of experiment that you need. For example, maybe by the typical article published in the certain journal, they need. So normally the paper that I published under the energy and field, we need at least 6 figure. 6 figure, what figure? 6 figure, 6 result and data figure. So that's why before you publish, you must know this all thing, whether the overall concept is enough for you to draft a paper or not. So what is the criteria of good manuscript? First thing, the manuscript must contain a clear, useful, meaningful of the scientific message. We must clearly written what we want to deliver to the audience. Because the reviewer will read through your article and give the comment. If your article is not clear, is messy and not organized, the reviewer might reject your the paper directly. Whether the overall flaw is in the logical manner or not. I think here are the disturbance, right? Okay, then whether the overall flow of your manuscript or your paper is follow the logical manner or not. That means the reader can follow easily, the reviewer can follow easily or not from the instruction. Or what is the flow? Then after that, go instruction, then go to your objective. After the objective, then go to the strategy. How you going to conduct the experiment? What is the problem you want to solve? Then after that, you obtain the data. Then what is the result? Then after that, how you going to analyze your result, the result? Then what is the discussion of the result? Then finally go to the conclusions. So the overall flow must following. So if the format is formatted to the best showcase the material. I mean, the article must be format well arranged or well formatted. Well arranged and well formatted. So all the table and figure must be well, the caption well labeled. Then each table or figure must be well mentioned in your manuscript. This one you have to know. Well managed and formatted your papers. After that, the write is the written in a style that transmits the message clearly. I mean, you have to write in the very clear and precise message or sentence, so that the reviewer or the audience can understand what you want to review. If the editor or the reviewer misunderstand your concept, it is your fault. It is your fault because because the paper is not written in the clear manner that the reviewer or the editor can be understand. So the articles must be written in very clear and precise words. We also need to provide a clear and attractive diagram and figure, because normally if the diagram or figure is provided, it much more easy for us to explain the certain concept or certain theories. So it highly recommended to provide a few attractive diagram or figure for any of your manuscript. But you need to bear in mind one thing: this is not the creative writing class. Not the creative writing class. I mean, any words any sentence you are written must be clear and precise, short and clear, to carry out the meanings. If any sentence can be write in maybe n words, never use n plus one word. I mean, never ever use the extra words for your manuscripts. For your manuscript, because what you want to deliver is the scientific knowledge, your idea, technical idea, engineering ideas. So now we going to the general structure of the full article. This one is a very technical, I guess all of you already know. Because the one manuscript start with a title. Later on, I will discuss in detail how we going to develop a good title. Then the author list. So all the contributing authors must be put in the manuscript. But before you submit any articles or manuscript, make sure all your listed author have to read through and agree for the paper before submissions. I must get the author's consent and proofread. This one is very important as well. If any one of the authors disagree with the submitted manuscript or articles, he or she wrote to the editor, so the article might be withdrawn immediately. So this is very important to get the consent from all the listed authors in the manuscript, and get them to proofread, give them enough time to proofread the article and agree with the content of the article before submit to certain journals. So after that, followed by the abstract. Later on, I also give you some tips how to develop or write the good abstract, because the abstract is the first thing the editor will read your articles, whether they decided this article go to the next review process or rejected directly. So the abstract is very, very important. Your abstract is just like your advertisements, advertisement to advertise your ideas to the editors. After that, we must have some few keywords, that related to your article or to your manuscript. Then the main content is in run. Start with the introduction, method, result, and discussion. This one I think is a very typical structures. All of you already know. Then after that, after the conclusion, we need to put in the acknowledgement. must make sure you put all the acknowledgement you want to put, acknowledge some grant, some people, some organization, organization or whatever that you want to acknowledge. You can put in the that part. Then the lastly is the reference. So reference seems like very simple and easy because you just put any references that related to your article, but according to the Elsevier journal editors, the reference is the most mistake did by the researchers or the scientists. Must make sure your reference is following the correct format. So all the works or literature study are properly cited, following a correct format. I mean your reference must be complete or not complete with the title, the authors, list of the author, titles, the volume number and page number, etc., etc. Then lastly, the supplementary materials, if you have any. So for me, this one is another tips of my writing. So for me, I always write in the backwards. You see, this is the general structure. So normally people will start with the title first, then abstract or whatever. But for me, I will write backward. Backward, that means first thing, I will develop the figure first, figure and table. I will put all my data into the proper table. Then put all my data represent in the good and attractive figure or graph. I will develop and draw the figure and table first. Then after that, I only go to the method, result, and discussions. Methods is the most simple part that for the whole one article or manuscript. Because the method, you just record down or documented whatever you did, whatever process you did. What is the raw material that you use? Where the raw materials come from? That one is very simple. You just follow and documented the step by step properly, systematically. Then it will be done for your methodology. Then after that, go to the result. Result is represent in the figure and table form. So in the result and discussion part, just further discuss what is the outcome you want to deliver to the audience or to the editor or reviewer. So from that table, you need to add the explanations. Why it's happened? How it's happened? Why the train is uptrend? Why the train is downtrend, for example? What is the reason behind? Then after the reason is written, then you have to add in what is the evidence or proof. Evidence or proof. So and then after that, we continue with the result and discussion. Then after that, we only write the conclusion part. Conclusion is just like the summary of your work. It's the overall summary of your work. Then after that, and we can add the introduction. Then the last part is write the abstract. The abstract, as I mentioned to you, abstract is just like your the advertisement to advertise all your research work. You need to mention clearly what is the purpose of your work or of your article. Then what is the significant contribution of your article? Then after that, at the end, we only develop the title that suitable with the content of your article. If we develop the title first, maybe after you write your article, maybe the title might not reflect the overall content of your article. So that's why this my little bit tips that when I writing any articles, I write in backwards in this row. So the first thing is developing your titles. So the title, because as I mentioned to you at the beginning, at the very beginning of of my slide. So more than 50% of the reader only read your title, right or not? Only read your title. So if your title is not catchy, not attractive, mean the reader will not continue to read the full content of your articles. So that's why the title is very important. This is the opportunity for you to attract the reader, not only reader, because before your article can reach to the reader, the editors of the journal will read your title first. If the title is not interesting, it's not contain the hot topic or whatever, so the editor might reject your articles or manuscript directly, might reject the article directly. So remember, the reader are the potential author who will cite your article as well. Because what is the purpose of our publications, of any publications? We want our paper to be read and cited by other potential authors also, right? Because we want to disseminate the knowledge, our new ideas, or else publications is not important because our idea cannot deliver to the rest of the world. For me, it is useless for you to, for us to publish any papers. So that's why we must able to develop a very catchy and attractive title. So what is the content of the title that we need to put? First, we must keep it very informative and specific. Because the reviewer will check whether the title is specific and whether it reflects the content of the manuscript or not. Must make sure, must be specific that can reflect the content of the manuscript. Then, as I mentioned to you, the editor hit the title that made no sense and or fail to represent the subject of the matter. So, if the title cannot get the attention for the editor, the paper will be rejected directly. So, this one is very important. Must avoid the technical jargon and abbreviative because you wish to have the readership as rush as possible, right? Because if you put any technical jargon that the reader that totally unable to understand, I mean the reader might be lose the interest because we must be specific but cannot be too specific as well. Too specific as well because we need to get the attentions from from the reader, editors, and also the reviewer. So how are we going to develop the title? First, we can map a few related keyword first. The keyword. What is the potential keyword? Can develop maybe 8 to 10 keywords that related that can reflect the content of the article. But the keyword that using cannot be too general or too specific. If too general, then it cannot really reflect the significance of your research work. So after that, from that keyword, we can form the few title. I can form few titles, few suitable title. We can form suitable. After that, discuss with the co-author, your the team member or mentors to improve and finalize the title. So this is how I develop my title. Then must bear in mind, when developing the title.
Xin chào Minh Tùng này.
Okay, must when we develop the title, we must avoid what to avoid. First, the title that cannot reflect the content. Avoid this one I already mentioned. Avoid the jargons. Then the non-attractive title. The very boring titles or too general or too specific titles. So This is some of the good and catchy titles. This one, sometime the graphical abstract also also play an important role in catching the eye of the reader as well. So like this one, these two topics is very good topic. Precise, precise and specific. Specific, but it is not too specific or too general. It want to represent and reflect the content that we want to deliver. Good topic. Then after that it's moved to the abstract. The abstract. As I mentioned just now, the abstract is considered the advertisement of your articles, of the articles. The abstract that you need to tell the reader or editor what you did, what you highlighted, what is the significance of your article or your research work again and again. The abstract and the title must avoid using the jargon and uncommon aberrations. This one must be avoided in the title or abstract. Must be avoided. Then the abstract must be accurate and specific that can reflect the content of your articles. So use the words that will reflect the precise meanings. Use the word that precise meaning. So normally the abstracts have the word limit. Word limit. This one must following the guideline for the certain journal. Normally it's just 100 word to 300 words. So the abstract cannot be too lengthy as well, because if too lengthy, too many wording is also not a good abstract. The abstract is not repeating. It's not repeating the conclusion as well. You must bear in mind. The abstract is not repeating the conclusions. It's just like this one I stress. I want to stress many times, because the abstract is just like the advertisement of your article, because the editor only will read your abstract to decide whether your article worth to send to the reviewer process or not. If the abstract is totally not attractive, no any contribution to the scientific knowledge, the editor might reject your article directly. So that's why to construct the good abstract is very important. Then within the word limit, most of the journal that I publish, the word limit is around 150 to 250 words. It depends on the journals. So the abstract normally is in the single paragraph summary of the completed work. So normally, as I mentioned just now, I like to write in the backward. So that's why the abstract I normally write at the very, very last. Very last step. So in the abstract, these are some tips how I going to develop or write the abstract. There are 4 points. 4 important points must be put in the abstract. First, clearly state what is the problem statement, what is the main problem. I mean, from there, it can reflect what is the purpose of the study, what is the significance of the study, what the significance of your research. The problem statement must be clear. Then, need to also discuss why is this an interesting problem, why your problem is very interesting. Why is problem interesting? I mean, from there, you can briefly describe of the what you plan to do. Your experimental work, your description of your experimental work in 1 sentence. After that, what is the solution of your proposed idea or your achievement? What is the solution that you achieve, that you obtain? What's the result? What is the so significant of your result? So this one is not repeated result. The result I discussed. from here, you just put the most significant and interesting finding. Just put the main finding. Must put some specific data. How many percent of improvement? For example, by using by using your proposed idea, the energy efficiency can increase from 50% to 55%. There are 5% improvement of the energy efficiency. Must put a very specific data and information. Then the asset will be end with an important conclusion. I mean, one summary sentence to conclude your abstract. So this is the criteria of the good abstract. This one, the abstract is very, very important. So this one is the example of the good abstract. You see, from the first two sentences, it's clearly written that what is the purpose of this study. This study, you want to evaluate the potential of the biodiesel production from this one because they have the high acid value, the purpose and the problem statement. And after that, what we plan to do? This one is the method, one sentence method. This one need to do the gramming, the process, the proposed process. What is the novelty idea that the process that want to carry out? Then what's the purpose? Is to reduce the acid value. Then after that, you need to report what is the significant finding. Then give some precise data in the finding or result. Then at the end, we end with one summary sentence. In short, the California biodiesel can become the alternative fuel in the future. This is the overall summary can be drawn out. So this is the abstract. Good abstract. For example, this one is another example of the abstract. The first two sentences is about the problem statement. What we are facing now. Well, what we are facing now, facing the increase the biodiesel production is one of the solution. One of the solution to the need of the easy impact of the increased demand of the crude oil. Because crude oil, then the oil problem, petroleum problem, and also the what we want to reduce the emission of the greenhouse gas. So this is the problem that we are facing globally. So, however, the current solution, currently we still don't have any solution for that issue because we want to use the biodiesel as the alternative because we don't have the solution, especially for the developing country. So this is the problem behind. Then what we going to solve? What is our proposed idea? This is the method in the method. Then after that, we need to report out the main finding. The main finding, we must include some, as I mentioned before, we need to mention some precise data, precise the exact data. What is the outcome that we need to show from our research study? Then after that, write one summary sentence, the conclusion sentence. So this is the two example of the good abstract. This one is another example. So after the abstract, then we go to the main content. I guess all of you already know what is the main content. It's in rhymes. The introduction, method, result, and discussion. From the introduction, we can let the reader or the editor know what was the question, what is the problem statement, what is the unsolved issue, Then after that, followed by the method. Method is how we going to answer the question, how we going to solve the unsolved problem, what is our idea. Then the result is what that you find, what is our finding, what is our main finding, what is our investigations. Then after that, what does it mean? I mean, why the energy, for example, why the energy efficiency can be improved? what is the theory behind, and what is the improvement compared to the previous solutions. So from the discussion, we can draw up that things. Then I will go one by one. The first one is the introduction. There are few points, a few important points for the introduction, because in the introduction part, we need to convince the reader or the reviewer or even the editor why the words, our word is very important. Our idea is important and significant. Why is very significant? So in the introduction, we need to write clearly, mention clearly what is the main problem statement. What is the main problem? The problem statement. Then also we need to clearly state what is our contribution, our idea, how our ideas, our new innovative idea can be contributed for that problem. How our idea can solve the problem. This one, the contribution is about 1 page only. And at the end of the introduction, we need to clearly state what is the objective. This one must very important. Must bear in mind. This one is very important because I review many articles. Many articles they didn't mention what is the significance of their study and also as well as the objective of the study. They didn't write. They write a very lengthy literature study, a very lengthy problem. Then the previous study, previous research, but most of them fear to write what is the objective of the study, what is the significance of their contributions, of their study, of their investigation, what is the significance. This one have to write clearly into instructions. Because why? In the instruction, it's the chance for you to convince the reader the importance of your work, then describe the problem. How we going to describe the problem? We need to read the literature study as much as possible, the related literature study as much as possible. What is the problem they're facing? Whether the problem already have the solution or not. So what is the problem of the current solution? Because sometimes we already have some solution, but the solution still has some drawback. We need to clearly mention in the instruction. So what is their main limitation? Oh, because the previous study already proposed some ideas, but what is their limitation? Then what you plan to achieve? What we plan to achieve? How we going to close the gaps? From first we figure out the gap. Then after that we provide a solution to close the gap. Then what we hope to achieve? This one must be clearly mentioned in the instructions. So at the same time, we need to introduce the main scientific publication on which your work is based on. So whether our work is based as any have any scientific proof or not. I mean, for our solution that we propose, we need to put the relevant literature study, literature review to support our study or our work. Then we need to cite a couple of original and important work, including the recent update of the related work. Why? Why we need to do so? Because sometimes we thought that our idea is new idea, but if we go to read into the detailed literature study, someone else in some part of the world they already did the same thing. So that's why we need to cite the most recent publications in the instruction. Most recent here is most of our references or literature study should be within 5 years. Within 5 years, to show that our work is very significant and important at the current state, is the current hot topics. Then from there we need to figure out what is the gaps, what is the difference between our work with the previous researcher work. what is the improvement we want to show? What is our their limitation? What is their drawback of their problem? So what is the gap that you want to close? From there, from there, we can figure out the significance and importance of our study. So this all thing must be clearly mentioned in the instructions. So the editor hit the reference irrelevant to the work or inappropriate judgment on your own achievement. This one must be bear in mind also. Yes, we have to put the most recent and updated work that related literature study that related to our work. But for those unrelated references, we must avoid. Don't simply cite the paper that not related to your work. This one is very inappropriate. So the editor or the reviewer also hate this type of thing also. Because we must put the literature study or the references that really related and can help you to explain why your work is significant and important. So, because by putting the non-related references, they will think that you have nonsense of the purpose to do that. Another thing you have to bear in mind also. Sometimes some of the researchers also, they have the reference overkill. What I mean by reference overkill? For the one very general sentence, they put 5 or 6 references. It totally make no sense. Because for each of the reference that we need to clearly define what is the contribution of each of the literatures to our research work. So don't put the irrelevant references and must put the latest and recent publications or literature study. So this is some of the tips also for my publication. This is the main content of my instruction. So first, we can write the overall background and motivation. For example, my research is about the energy and fuel. Normally, I will start with the very general overall background and motive. For example, the biomass problem will create a very huge impact to the our environmental. So we need to solve that thing. So give the very clear background, then with the scientific data and proof at the reading of from where all your reading is come from. After that, we need to write the objective and the scope. What is the scope, or what is the limitation of your study, your objective of the study? What is the boundary line of your study? After that, we need to put the problem statement. Okay, problem statement and novelty statement. I mean, problem statement, there is the problem, unsolved problem. It's become the problem statement. Then your proposed idea, the idea that you propose is become your novelty. So these things must be clearly, I repeat again, this one I repeat many times already, must be clearly mentioned in the introduction part. Of course, this one must be support with the latest and relevant references. Then the application. What we mean by application here? Because for the engineering and technology research, normally we will deal with some application. What is the purpose of our innovations? We must can be applied in our daily life, can be applied in the current technologies. So what is the main purpose of your idea? Must be able to apply. For example, we propose the new invention of the solar cell. The application is we want to put into the solar cell so that the solar panel, so that the overall solar panel can be, the overall efficiency of the solar panel can be improved. So this is the potential application. What is the application that out from our ideas? So this is the tips that is needed to write into our instruction. Yeah, this one should be avoid. Should be avoid too too long of the instructions. Never use more word than necessary, because this one is the technical writing. We must avoid the very lengthy and wordy and very long instructions. So do not turn this section into into a history reason. Reader and can might be lose their interest. So what does it mean? We no need to explain the very common issue that everyone already know. For example, to explain back what is the Newton's second law. For example, in your study, you might need to use the Newton's second law. You no need to explain all the Newton's second law. For example, my study, I need to use the pyrolysis process. We no need to explain back what is the principle of the pyrolysis process. So we can just write in this study we are use the pyrolysis process. Then this process just briefly discuss one sentence about the process, then put the proper citation about the process. That's it. No need to explain any why is the pyrolysis, because this one is totally well known and very common information. We no need to mention that things in the instruction. In the instruction, the most important part is what? The problem statement. Need to clearly mention the problem statement and the significance of your study, the novelty of your study. Where is your creativity point from your ideas? So then also must avoid the used car salesman feel. I mean oversell your your product or your work. The oversell of the work, because every of our work must based on some scientific knowledge, previous scientific literature study. We no need to have this type I mean oversell our ideas. Then we also should avoid too general or not focused, or does not reflect the content. The instruction that does not reflect the content. Then the not focused or too general. So in the abstract, we must have very precise digital study to support our words. We must be specific. Be specific. What is the technology we are using? What is the idea? What is the part that we want to improve? Must be very specific. Then from there we can we need to get the relevant scientific literature study to support that. Cannot be too general. Must be very precise. Objective is not clear or not mentioned. Yeah, this one is the very, very common mistake. After I review so many papers, even some of the student paper also, the objective is not clearly mentioned in the objective. This one is very important. The last part of the instruction must be clearly mentioned what you plan to do, the objective, what you plan to do for your study. Then another mistake that already always found in the instruction is what? The novelty is not highlighted, not mentioned or not highlighted the novelty. This one is very significant. And the last one is the overuse of the expression, such as the novel, first time, first ever, or etc. Yes. We can use that word. We must use that word carefully. We don't overuse that kind of word novel first time, because sometimes something whatever that we propose it's not really first time that we explore. Maybe we just improve from other technologies. This is just some improvement. So must use this word very carefully. Very carefully. So this about the instruction. Then the novelty, the significance of study, the originality of the study, then how we need to draw out. Sometimes the originality and the originality can be very high or marginal or none. But you have to clearly mention what is the important, what is the original part of your study. Because sometimes when I review some of the articles in the instruction, it keep mentioning this is the first time, this is the novel process or whatever, but they didn't do the proper literature study because someone else already did the same method before. Someone else already did the same study before. So that's why we need to do the proper literature study that can figure out the significant novelty, the very important part of your study. Don't overuse the first time, this is the novel or whatever, without doing the proper literature study. So what we need to do, we need to read the literature study from all sort of the database, because currently I think most of the university already subscribe a lot of the database from Stein, the Springer, Telefancy, etc. We able to get all these latest literature study easily. We must read it truly so that what we claim is correct. What we claim is correct because normally our paper will send to the expert of certain areas, expert of the area to review the work. So once the expert read the paper, he or she will know whether this is the new idea or not. Whether it's a new idea or not. So we must do the comprehensive literature study. Read all the most recent and relevant or related articles from any database. Then sometimes you also can read the recommendation or future direction of the articles. Sometimes in the summary, or they will write what is the future direction, what is the future recommendation. Because one more tip I want to give you all is what we can go to read the review paper, the latest review paper. Because the review paper is what? The review paper is they reviewing all the recent related technology that related and recent technology. So from their review paper, this is a very comprehensive literature study. Okay. Maybe you can read the recommendation and the future direction from that paper, then to gain some idea of the novelty. How you going to figure out the novelty, the future direction of your study, because they already compound or summarize all the literature study in the review paper. So it is good for us sometimes to read the review paper that related to our area, because from there we can gain some insight. So this is some of the examples of the instructions. First is put the problem statement. What is the problem statement? And after that, put the related previous study. What is the limitation? What is the drawback? Then after that, clearly mention the objective. Objective maybe explain our words. The objective. Problem statement related literature study and our words. Similarly, this one is because this one I didn't show the full instruction. I just show you the most important part is what we need to clearly mention. What is the novelty of our paper or manuscript or words? Then we need to, the most important part is we need to mention the objective of the study. The objective of study. What we need to show. Then we need to, this is followed by the develop the life cycle model, for example. What we plan to do for this study, for the palm. So this is about the instructions. Now I need to move on to the methodology. So this one is the most simple part. I don't think I have much thing to mention here, because this part is most easiest and simple, because you just need to document the step and the process that we follow for our study. That's it. That's it. We need to report and describe the methodology with completely, complete and specifically and concise. That's it. For example, how many gram of the biomass we are using, at what temperatures, so what is the reaction time, for example, etc., etc., and report in detail. So this one must be include the specialized material we are using. What is the material, from where the material is come from? So any equipment we are using, sometimes we can put the model of the instrument we are using. And what is the standard method we are following, for example, or what is the simulation software we are using. So what is the technique? What is the standard test procedure? STM standard test procedure, or European standard procedure, or Malaysia standard procedure, for example. So also same thing. Do not include the common technique. The technique that already established, we no need to describe in details. What we need to discuss here is our own ideas. Our own idea. What is the difference that we make compared to other procedures or other methods? What is the improvement? What is the modification we make on the process? For example, for example, I want to do the thermal conversion and thermal conversion of the biomass. Normally, the thermal conversion for the microalgae biomass, for example, for the certain species is happen at 500 degrees C. But with my method, I can use just 300 degrees C. So what is the difference? What is the theory behind, the specific theory behind? Then this one we have to write into the details, document all this process in detail. That's it. Very simple. And then what is the standard procedure that we are following, or standard test method? Write the standard test method code as well. It's possible if you have any. Very simple. Then after that, and then we go to the result. So result and discussion. These two parts cannot be separated. Cannot be separated, because the result part is what just represent the data that you obtain from your experiment, from the survey, from the simulation. It's only represent the raw data. From the raw data, then after that you organize the data. Organize the data in the proper table or figures. Proper figure, table and figure. But the essential part is what? The discussions. The discussion. Because this thing, the result is the what finding. What is the finding? What is the data they obtain? For example, what is the efficiency that you obtain? This one is the one of the proof. One of the proof for your discussion. Then from the discussion part, you need to add what is the theory behind, why the temperature reduced but the efficiency is improved. What is the scientific knowledge that contribute behind? And this one. Then the result only show the result. The only show the result after you organize the result. It's not the raw data result. So the data of the secondary important in the supplementary material. If the less important data you can put in the raw data, do you think that it's significant to put in this study? You can put in the supplementary materials there. So one thing is very important is what? Do not hide the data. Do not hide the data. and hope it's saving for the later purpose of whatever. Don't hide any data for example, don't hide any data. But no matter you like it or not, maybe someone will figure out or whatever. You have to report whatever that we obtain from our work. Whatever result that we obtain from our work, we must report sincerely, ethically. You may lose also a lot those evidence to support your conclusion. Because sometimes we thought that the data is maybe too much for one paper or whatever. I don't know, maybe thinking to save for another paper. This one is not really good idea. Not really good idea. Maybe we might lack of the support or evidence or support for our conclusion or for our discussion for that paper. Will be affected the paper. Maybe the paper quality will be significant drop. Because in order for us to publish in the high rank journal, we need, for example, I just give you the brief idea. Maybe we need 6 parameter. For example, we need 6 parameter. If we hiding the 2 parameter, maybe make this paper is not really high quality. It only can publish in maybe lower tier journal. So that's why we must not hide anything. We must show everything and tell the clear and easy to understand story. One thing we need to bear in mind: do not include or do not put the long, boring table or data. This is what I mean. Don't put your primary data in your manuscript. We only put the data after we organize the data in the proper tables or proper figure. Do not put the raw data. If the raw data, sometimes raw data is very important. If the raw data is important, please put it in the supplementary materials. Don't put in the main context. Then the discussion. This one is very significant and important, because normally what the reviewer read is our result and discussion. How we going to report? The significance of our outcome? Is this our outcome? Because previously in instruction, we mentioned what is the significance of our ideas, correct or not? What is the significance of our work? Then this part is what? This part is what is the the proof of the significance of your work. The discussion part is more important section of your article. Here you will get the chance to share your data. In the instruction, we just share our idea only. We just throw out our idea. Then how is our idea worked? Is from the instructions. So many of the articles are rejected because of the discussion is very weak. There's a good idea, but the discussion is very poor written. Why? Because they just reporting the result. That means from the table, if this uptrend is report uptrend, downtrend, that's it. Because we no need to report the trend of just report the trend of the figure. Because the reviewer or the reader can read from the figure. We need to explain why the trend is uptrend. What is the difference that we are doing? What is the different process we are doing? Or the significant idea, what is the modification we are doing? So that's why the efficiency can be uptrend, for example. We have to make the clear scientific proof for our study. So we need to make the discussion corresponding to the result as well. Must be consistent. Then support must be consistent and support with the scientific proof or scientific theory Oh, this one, following the, for example, following the thermodynamic second law, for example, our result. So, at the same time, you need to compare the published result with your result. Your proposed idea, what is the significant improvement of your proposed idea compared to other result that already published in the literature? What is the significant improvement? Then do not ignore the work that disagree with you. Confront it and convince the reader or the reviewer that you are the correct or better. So we do not purposely ignore or hiding some statement that totally disagree with us. Because no matter how you face it, because the article is sent to the peer review, is sent to the expert of the area. He or she might know, there are some word is disagree because they are the expert in the area. They are expert, they are maybe the very senior professors, whatever, or the senior researchers, senior scientists. They might know. So you have to confront it, or face it and convince the reader, why their word is, why some people disagree with our work is again with some of the work in the literature study. What is the difference? Try to convince them in this scientific way, because many articles they have the very weak discussion. Yes, sometimes they plot a very good graph, very nice SEN diagram, and very nice TGA figures, but they are fail to explain phenomena behind. They are fail to explain what is the scientific knowledge contribution behind. So this is what we need to put the proper discussions. Then after that, the last part is come to your conclusions. The conclusion is tell how your work is at once in the field from the present state of knowledge. Conclusion is just like the summary, the summary of your work of the work. So we need to bear in mind one thing. First thing, don't repeat the abstract. The abstract and conclusion are two different things. Don't repeat the abstract. Don't repeat the abstract and or second is, or don't just list of the experimental result. No, don't just report the result only. The conclusion is we need to provide the clear scientific justification of the work. What is the contribution of the work? I mean, in the clear scientific way. For example, the energy efficiency is improved. Why the energy efficiency is improved? How it can improve? I mean, the clear scientific justifications and indicate the possible application and extension. This one is proof that the experimental theory proves that the energy efficiency is improved. That is possible. The solar cell, for example, is possible to use in that solar panel, for example. You have to clearly mention that thing. You also should suggest what is the future experiment or future work that still lack of in your study. For example, now we just study about the for example, solar efficiency of the solar cell, but we don't know after this solar cell put in the solar panel, what is the efficiency? Maybe we can propose a study. The energy efficiency for the overall solar system, for example, should be studied before the implementations. This one in the conclusion, the summary of the conclusions. Please don't repeat the abstract or just reporting the experimental result. Don't just reporting the experimental result. Must give the scientific justification, very clear, precise scientific justification for your conclusions. So in the conclusion, this is my method also. In the conclusion, first sentence is again state what I did. Then after that, we draw out the significant result. Then the last one is the application, or the future words of the or the future words, the application and the future words that we can read. This one. After the conclusion, is the references. References. Cite the main scientific publication on which your work is based on. That means it's really related to your work only. You just put the references just related to the work. Follow the suitable format, because every journals they might have a different format. You must follow the suitable and correct format, and use the recent publication. For me, 80% of the references I put in any articles of my article must be within 5 years. Why within 5 years? Because if you found that maybe some of you claim that there are no any recent publication for the area that I study. But if they are really first, if they are really don't have any recent publication for the area that you study, might be few reasons. First, the area that you study is really new. Really new. I mean, still don't have any researcher or the scientists around the world. They study in that area. And second reason might be what? Might be because the technology that we propose may be already outdated. So you got the topic that study maybe is no longer gain the interest for the current scenario or current technologies. So if not, or else the topic, the interesting topic must have some related and recent publication within these 5 years. Then this one I also need to stress again. Do not put too many reference. This one is refer to one sentence. One sentence. Because put too many reference does not make the manuscript better. Unless the manuscript is a real paper. Real paper normally we have more than 100 references. But the typical full rank article don't have a lot of the references. We just put the reference that really related to our study, especially within the one sentence. Don't put 3 to 5 references, because this one will make the reference overkill, because each of the references that they put must be contribute its knowledge. Because if the references is already enough to support your statement, don't put the second references. No need to put a second. Maybe you can put the two related references. That should be fine. But if one sentence you have we have maybe 5 references, for me it's quite funny. I mean, it's quite common sentence. If you make the reference overkill. Then one more thing is must be avoid excessive of self-citation. Excessive of self-citation, that means what? Our own self-citation, own word that not related to that specific paper, that specific article. Don't put that reference as well. Don't put that self-citation as well, because normally now with the Internet of Things or all the database, we are able to know what is the percentage of self-citations. We can check it clearly in the Web of Science. Web of Science very clearly what is the percentage of the self-citation. Because there are no any guideline how many percent of the self-citation is higher or lower. But for me, if the self-citation is more than 20%, for me is the over self-citation, excessive of the self-citation is more than 20%. But there are no any guideline or any guideline for that. But we must avoid the self-citation, non-related self-citations, not related self-citations. And also because we also this one is more the ethic problem. We also must avoid the citation, maybe purpose citation without any scientific contribution of our maybe co-worker work or friend work or whatever. Our co-worker or our friend ask us to cite the paper without any scientific contribution to the article. This one should be avoided as well. Should be avoided unless the paper that recommend is really the colleague or someone that can mention it really can be contribute, can help to improve the knowledge of your article. Yes, yeah, you can put in the reference, but we don't put any additional references without any scientific base. Without any scientific base. Then again, I need to there are more mistakes are found in the references than any other part of the manuscript. But by following the correct format, check the format again and again. Now it's very easy to handle the citation because we have a lot of the citation management tool. The reference work and not tutorial, Mendeley. These all are the citation management tools. So I really recommend you use this one in order for you to prepare your manuscript. Then the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is you have to put any organization, agency that can have the contributions to your research work, the dedications work or any note that you want to put to acknowledge some individuals or institution or agency. You can put in the acknowledgement part. Then this one, after the first draft, must be reviewed again and again before submission. After writing the first draft, at least a dozen revisions are usually needed to improve the text. Make sure all of the authors read the first draft. Give them some time. Must do the revision again and again to improve. The quality of the manuscript. Because some of the very quality scientific works, it might have the very poor written article, can turn into the very poor written articles. So that's why we have to read again and again. Make sure the manuscript are error-free, are free from any mistake or whatever. Then give all the authors to read it because different people, they have the different mind or different opinion. They can improve the manuscript. At the same time, we need to get the consent for all authors to be agree of the content of any manuscript before the submission. Must make sure that all the co-authors get the consent and read the article before we submit. Revision and proofreading. We have to final revision and proofread again and again before submission. So effectiveness of the study, the supporting information, order and flow of the article, make sure the order and flow of the information and the supporting information is enough, and must be leaving the reader with new questions. Maybe revision and proofreading again. So the proofreading part, as I mentioned before, again and again, all the authors must be participate. All the authors must be agree that any single word in the articles. Because every author have to responsible of what they are published. All the listed authors. So proofreading can check from the grammar and spelling error, or this type of the potential error, or some technical terms error, the technical symbol error, the transcript error, or whatever error, or references error. We must proofreading again and again. Make sure all the listed authors read the articles before send to the submission. This one I also mentioned many times, must avoid the jargon words as listed as follow. This one I also get from the literature from these articles. how to write and publish the scientific papers. So responsible of the author from the preparation of the manuscript. Must be new and original research. This one I already mentioned just now. Manuscript has been checked by all the listed authors. This one I also mentioned many times. This one is very important. It's one of the co-authors, listed co-authors, is disagree with your work. Even the word is already published or whatever, if they write to the editors, the manuscript might be withdraw, or even already published, the paper might be retracted as well. So must bear in mind, all the authors must be agree. Then this one, the third one, should be obtained the copyright if the figure or table needed to be reproduced. Even our own figure that already published in the journals, we must get the copyright, the consent to obtain the copyright or permissions from the publishers. So we also need to put the proper affiliation. Make sure our affiliation is correct, the acknowledgement is correct. Yep. This one is about the writing from the writings from abstract to the conclusions. So any question before I continue to the review and editorial process? Anything that you want to ask? Any question for the floor?
Participants, if you have any questions, either you can ask verbally or also you can type in the chat box so that I can, on behalf of you, ask the speaker. Thank you. Dr. Huachuan, I think you can
Yes.
continue. In
Okay,
case if any of them still have a question, they can type in the chat box. I'm collecting
sure.
them. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now I move on to the review and editorial process. Because this one is very important also. Important to know what is the overall process in order for our paper to get accepted. Well, this one, what is the peer review process? I guess all of you already know what is the peer review process. I wouldn't go much about that. Assisting the reviewer mind is far more important than assisting the reader mind. It's likely that no one will even read your paper more truly than the reviewer. This one, reviewer will read your paper in very, very detailed manner. Because after our paper is published, more than 90% of the paper never get any more than 50% of paper never get any citation. More than 90% of paper, no one is read that paper. So during the peer review process, normally the journals ask us to suggest the referee. Make sure you suggest the proper referee. Proper referee. What is the proper referee? Proper referee, that means the expert from the areas. Who is the expert from your areas that you know? For you know, what is the expert from the area? Or if you really cannot figure out anyone, I can give you one tip also. You can refer to your references. Then you can figure out which author have almost similar studies. Who is the expert on the area as well? He already published maybe more than 50 papers in that area. Maybe you can suggest them as a reviewer. Don't simply suggest your friend or whatever that not related to the area as a reviewer. And so this is the overall process. I guess all of you already very clear. So I just go through very quickly. When you submit the paper, we need the office, the journal office or the editorial office to make sure the journal is fulfill the basic requirement or not. What is the basic requirement? Later on I will discuss in detail. If the journal is not fulfill the basic requirement, the editorial board or the editor will reject the paper immediately. Will reject the paper immediately. So we must make sure. Besides, we have the very novel idea or whatever. After that, we need to make sure our paper is fulfilling the basic requirement. If fulfill the basic requirement, the reviewer will be assigned, then the reviewer will review and give the comment, and after that, after the editor read the reviewer recommendations, the editor can reject or accept your paper immediately. This one is very rare, but normally after the reviewer, the editor will decide whether reject if or if the user is needed, we need to revise or improve the paper. Then after that, we can resubmit again. Then the process go through again until the paper get accepted or rejected. So the mechanism of the publication, this one I think I already discussed. Submit through the system, then the decision is either rejection, revision, or immediately acceptance. This one is very, very, very rare. So if rejection, don't fed up with the rejection, because any rejection they will come with the various or a lot of the reviewer comment. So from the reviewer comment, we can know what is the weaknesses of our manuscript. From there, we can improve the manuscript again. Then improve the manuscript, then we can resubmit again to another journals. So do the revision is this one also very common. If the manuscript is get the revision, we can answer or rebuttal all the reviewer comments carefully, one by one, and do the resubmission point by point. Then after that, if accepted, then that's good, very good. Then after that, if you think that the reviewer that I already mentioned at the beginning of my slide, that if you think the reviewer misunderstood your paper or your concept or your statement, it is your fault. It's your fault because why? We must write. Make sure we write in the language that everyone can be understand clearly or of any sentence, because some of the reviewer or editors, especially editors, they maybe have as little as maybe 15 minutes to judge whether this paper want to accept or reject. This paper is accept or reject. If the paper cannot get their attention within 15 minutes, maybe the editor will recommend the reactions without go to a review process. So make sure the paper is clearly presented. Should be clearly presented so that the reviewer can clearly understand whatever statement you want to bring up, whatever technology, whatever messages you want to bring up. So before we go to the reviewer, normally it have the initial editorial review. Initial editorial review, I mean, is for us it's for the journal office or editorial office to check whether the article is fulfill the basic requirement or not. If not fulfill the basic requirement, if you reject directly without sending it into review. So that's why we must make sure the article is follow strictly the guideline provided by the journal. Why? Because one year, as I mentioned before, 1 year, the editor of the certain journal, they might receive maybe up to few thousand manuscript, up to thousand manuscript for the certain journals. So every day they have to handle many of the manuscript. So this is they are very overloaded. So the reviewer must use the editor must use the reviewer for the potential paper, potential good papers, potential good paper. They are only sent to the reviewer because this is very disservice. If we ask the reviewer to spend the time on the word that clearly have a very clear evident deficit or deficiency. So that's why we must make sure the manuscript or the paper that we prepare must be follow the guideline strictly. Must read the guideline strictly. So what is the basic requirement guideline? First is the content. Content means the overall aim and scope is again with the journal. This one, the editor might be recommend listen immediately. So we must make sure the perspective is consistent with the journal. I mean our content must be consistent with the journal aims and scopes. So paper is limited interest. Mean the paper is limited interest. I mean the paper that not really scientifically sound or interesting. Because the paper lack of the international audience. No one, I mean, we clearly know that this one is a limited interest. No one will read the articles. So the editorial board will be reject directly. So we must make sure the topic that we send is really gain the international audience. Not only the local audience, I mean international audience. So, or this word have the sufficient significant value or not to the existing method? Any improvement or not? Then are the right conclusion draw out from the result or not? Then one more is this one is very important part. This one, most of the paper or the manuscript get the rejection due to the novelty and the significance are not immediate evidence or not well written. That's why in my previous slide, I already mentioned clearly what is the tip for us to write the novelty, how we going to draw out the novelty and the significance of the study, because many of the manuscript they mentioned that I reviewed, they mentioned that the work has not been done before, but this is not the really good scientific justification, because someone not did before is not a very proper way in order for us to justify the novelty. Novelty and contribution here is what is the significance after we apply or using your approach. What is the value added after we using your approach or your proposed idea, your innovative ideas? What is the improvement? This is what the reader want to know, the editor want to know, and the reviewer want to know. Not just because of never done before. Never done before doesn't have any scientific justification as a novelty. Fail to meet the submission requirement. This one must read the guideline again and again. Make sure all follow the guideline. This one I'm not going to detail. In proper coverage of the literature, must make sure the literature is appropriate. That like I mentioned, not too many self-citation or the reference that too difficult for the international reader to access. So we must have the proper scientific reference also. Unaccepted pro-English, this one also. We must make sure proofread our paper again and again. Make sure you give all the co-authors proofread the paper, or sometimes we might need the professional proofreader to proofread our papers, because the reviewer might be come from the OC. Because some reader they might not understand our local Malaysia English, for example. So that's why sometimes we need the professional proofreaders. Then if the paper get the revisions, so must bear in mind, the revision is the editor and reviewer help you to improve the articles, help us to improve the article. So don't take any offense. Don't take any offense. Revise the whole manuscript, not part of the manuscript, the whole manuscript that the reviewer point out. Then carefully read the comment and prepare the retail or rebuttal or letter of response, point by point, one point by point, explain what we already did in order to improve or revise the papers. If some of the comment you cannot accumulate the comments, we need to thanks the reviewer to give us the suggestion, but we need to provide the explanation why this thing is beyond our scope of the current study. Why it's not possible at this time? We need to write it clearly. Don't avoid the reviewer questions. Must face it and give the retail rebuttals. Explain why. Maybe it is the beyond the scope of your study, because some of the reviewer they might have other different idea. Propose us to do the extra experiment work. Yes, they might be very very good idea sometimes, but it's beyond our scope of study. We can politely and reply in the proper way. Then tip for the submission, prepare a detailed letter response. This one, answer all the questions directly. So the most important part here is do not resubmit elsewhere without any revision. Why? Because the expert of the certain area is very limited, because the group of the peer review is within that group. If even you submit your rejected journal without any improvement or revision to other journal, the editor might send to the same reviewer as well, especially for the same publisher, because they share the same reviewer database. When we take the certain area, for example, the area of maybe the torrefaction or the pyrolysis expert, the list of the expert they list out is almost similar with the other journal database. So it might go to the same reviewer again. So must do the proper divisions before resubmissions. So important to remember, submit to the right and correct journal within the scope and aims. This one was very important. Even the very high impact, good research work or paper that you produce, then we send to the wrong journal that have the different scope and aim with our study, it might rejected directly, even they have a very high quality work. So submit to one journal only at one time. I mean the same manuscript, you are not allowed to send to the under consideration of two journals, or even they already published. You cannot send the same manuscript to other journal. Cannot send to other journal. Cannot send to more than one journal. Must submit to one journal only. Must check the English. Pay attention to the structure, the journal requirement. This one I repeat many times already. Guide to the authors must be honest. Must be honest. This one is very important. Very important. Then lastly, we can check the similarity before the submission to avoid the high similarities works. This one is the international editor said the foreign problem appear much too frequent. So that's why we must know what is the problem. First is submission of a paper which is clear out of scope. This one repeat again. Not following the guideline, inappropriate suggested reviewer, or inadequate response to reviewer. I mean, not do the rebuttal or respond to a reviewer or for the resubmission correctly, inadequate standard of the English, resubmission of the rejected paper without any revision. So that's why this is the one of the editor in your service. I mentioned this. Must bear in mind. This one is the ethical issue. Multiple submission. Must avoid the multiple submission. Restricted content release. If something they have some copyright or some restrictions that we are not allowed to publish, or some copyright, some industry copyright that are not allow us to publish. Please don't release the contents. So the pluralism issue, the pluralism issue is, it's also very unethical problems that we are facing. Then manipulation of the citation. Cited the paper that not related, cited your friend papers, or your peers, or the supervisor, or the boss, or whatever, ask us to cite, or the reviewer, or the editors, ask us to cite the papers. Ask us to cite paper. Please reject this unethical manipulation of the citation. For example, sometimes the editors or the reviewer ask us to cite the paper without any scientific support or or any scientific input. We can reject that thing politely, because without any scientific base, we no need to add any extra or manipulate the citations. Now this is some ethic issues. Then criteria of good article. This one I think I repeat again already. I go through very quickly. The novel ideas, the quality research, the good writing and attractive presentation that can publish in high impact journal. Remember, the good article is the one that your article is read by others and cited. Read by others and cited. These are the good articles. Good articles. So major reason of reaction, no novelty. This one I think I repeated again. Target is not suitable. Then this one is the last slide. What lead to the acceptance of the paper. So first, attention to details. The guideline, the details. Then double check your work. Check again and again. This one is by Elsevier editors. Then consider the reviewer comment. We do the details rebuttals, point to point rebuttals again. English must be as good as possible. Must be as clear as possible. We no need to use some fancy English. We just use the very simple, direct English. Presentation is important. Must make sure it's well organized. Take your time with the revision. Take your time on revision. Maybe sometime, because normally the reason we just given 1 month or 2 months, is sometimes we are not enough time for our revision. We can write to the journal, to the editor, to have some extension of the time for the revisions. This is allowed. Must take your time. Must make sure you have sufficient time to do the revision. Acknowledge those who help you. Then the new, original, and previously unpublished. We must have the novelty. That means the novel unpublished things. Critical. Evaluate your own manuscript. That means you yourself, after we prepare the manuscript, we need to read again and again. Make sure it is error free. Don't have any big or major mistake. Big and major mistake. The last one is the ethical rule must be obeyed. This one is very important. The ethical rule must be obeyed. This one. This one is about the all about the. I think this one all about the submission of the papers. So far, do you have any questions or what kind of?
Yes, sir. We have one question. Can I read for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the
sure.
question is from Datin Fazila, and it says,
Nothing
I have
okay.
submitted a manuscript to a journal, but
Yeah.
after a few weeks, I still have not received any reply or response from the journal editor. So
Yeah.
I decided to send that manuscript to another journal.
Yeah.
So can I withdraw officially? If can, how to do that? Thank
Okay.
you.
That one very simple. Yes, we are allowed to withdraw. We are allowed to withdraw any manuscript that still under considerations. Like how to withdraw? Very simple. You write the email to the editor or editorial office. Then write the email why you want to withdraw. Then give the reason. Just a very simple reason. Simple, valid reason. Simple, valid, and solid reason to the editor. So the editorial office, they will respond you. After they respond, they will say the reason. Oh, your paper is already withdrawn, whatever. Yeah, this is very very simple. It's possible. Can withdraw. Then only you are only allowed to submit to another journal after the official withdrawal is successful. Don't submit the paper the paper to another journal as long as the journal still under consideration of other journals. So
Okay,
yep, withdraw first.
thank you for your answer. Just to add on this question, is there
Yes.
any time limit we can wait for a journal to respond? Maybe like 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah.
Because even in my own experience, sometimes
Yes.
some journals taking more than about an year without
Yep.
any responding.
Yep. I do
So is there
agree.
any,
Yep.
yeah, is there any optimum time for that so that,
That's
we
okay.
also want to publish our results, right? We don't want simply wait for the journal
Yes.
to come with a time.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I do agree with you. Then, yeah, this one I also mentioned previously. So before we send the manuscript, we need to know what is the time what is the timeline for that journal to take for the whole reviewing process. Some of the journal it might take up to 1 year. I myself also experienced it because we might know some articles. No, some journals might be take up to 1 year. If the article you wish to publish maybe as soon as possible within three months, 3 to 5 months, you must submit. We try to find the journal that the overall reviewing process is within 3 months, for example. Because I think I don't know. I read somewhere else in the forum. In that forum, they list up most of the journals from the Elsevier. What is the average reviewing period? So from there,
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry to interrupt. There is a journal finder option in Elsevier
Yes,
whereby if you can submit your abstract, it will
yes,
give you the guidelines of the journal.
yes, yeah,
And then the journal will give the summary, what is the acceptance rate, how much is
yes,
the review period.
yes, correct. That
So
one,
that
yep.
one normally helps.
Yes, yes. That thing we can refer to that if 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 the reviewing process is more than that average timeline, we can write to the editor or to the editorial office to ask what is the status. Normally they will respond. If we give them the proper enough timeline for the review, for example, 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. After 3 to 6 months, still didn't receive any any response or feedback or any updates from the system, we are allowed to ask the editorial office, what is the status? To check with the office, what is the status of our papers? Yep.
Okay, thank you very
Hello.
much. So is there any more questions? Yes, please.
I'm sorry. My name is Aliza, and
Yeah.
I didn't get what Professor Joseph had said just now. What was the document that we refer to find out about the reviewing period of the journals? What was the document name?
Journal final options.
Actually, if you go to Elsevier, then there is an option called Journal Finder, in which we can submit our title, also our abstract. Then it will give us about 10 to 20 related journals on this particular abstract.
Yep. Right. That one will be help because that one also can we can know also what is the scope of the journal, right? The acceptance rate. Do you have?
Dr. Y. I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yes.
This is more of a technical question.
Yeah. Sure.
For example, you have two sets of paper.
Two set of paper.
There is a continuation paper, means it is a continuation result of the previous paper.
I understand.
So
Yeah.
in the first paper, you mentioned about the method and everything. You list down the equipment and all the description.
Yes.
But it get published sometime, and then
Yeah.
once you want to continue with the second paper with the same method, in your experience, what did you do? Did you list down again the equipment and describe it again within the method section, or did you just self-cite it yourself? Means did you cite your previous paper to simplify it? What did you do in your experience?
Okay. Yeah. I do have the similar similar experience because some of my work also is continuous with the previous work that I already published. So if this is the case, we no need to list down the details, the very details of the methodologies. We just list out the important point. For example, we use almost the similar equipment, but we need to list down what is the equipment. But sometimes the parameter is different, correct or not? When the parameter is different, we need to list out what is the difference. We can mention in the second manuscript, the methodology is following the certain published papers that by us. Then after that, but with the modification of certain part, I don't know which part modification, but certain part, for example, the temperature is reduced, but maybe the raw material is different or whatever difference. But the set of the parameter you have to clearly mention in the new manuscript as well. Just the common step. We no need to repeat the common steps. Are you?
How about the fundamental discussion within your methodology? Did you repeat it, or did you
No.
just cite
If this is the case, no. If
self-cited?
this is the case, no. The fundamental description, no, not repeated. Fundamental description, no repeated. The fundamental description, we just can write. This experiment is the continued work from my previous study. Then start the study. Then just summarize. Just summarize the descriptions. Just a summarize, maybe 1 or 2 sentences will do. No need to give the full details about that. Just a summary.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I found questions. Right. What is the average time you spend daily on preparing journals? do you have weekly target or monthly target to produce? Yeah. For me, I don't have any weekly target or monthly target to produce how many journals paper at one time. But this is the continuous work. This is a continuous work because currently you can if you can check my paper, the list of the paper, most of my paper I just the second authors because most of my work is my student work. I can tell you it's my student work. Then I give the ideas. I give the ideas by my PhD student work. I give the ideas. I help to check the manuscript, improve the manuscript. So it depend. It depend on the research work. I cannot give you what is the time I spend for each paper. Maybe some of the paper I might take maybe few months because I still need to improve again and again because it's not up to the high impact journal standard. Still need to improve a lot. So might take from up to six months to 1 year to prepare one manuscript. Some of the papers after the first draft, after I read it's really up to the standard. We might need maybe 2 or 3 months to prepare a manuscript. So it's really depend on the paper. Then I also write the review paper as well. The review paper. Then after we have the idea, we structure out. What is the table of content first? After the table of content, then we arrange the rule for each of the co-authors. What is our rule? And then after that, we just work accordingly. It really depends on what type of work that we are doing. It's just the continuous work.
Okay, so there is another question from Dr. Mohammed Faid. Are
Right, yeah.
all of your journal papers funded by grant money?
Not all.
Thank you.
Most of them is funded. But not all. Because previously, I think previously I'm from the University of Malaya. So during that time, during 2000, during that time, we have the high impact research grant. During that time, we received a very huge grant from government. So in our group, because in our group we received up to 8 million ringgit. So from that time, we built the biofuel research in University of Malaya under the Center for Energy Sciences. So from there, we developed our research in together. Prof. Mazuki and Prof. Indra was my supervisor during that time. So with that fundamental, with the equipment that we already built from that thing, and also the network that I already built, then it is a continual work from there. This is how I built my research.
Thank you very
Then
much
this,
for your
yeah.
explanation. Is there any more questions from the participants?
Or you want to know about the journal impact and citation? This one I have few more slides to share with you. What is the correlation between the journal impact and citations?
Actually, our participants are still good because normally in any conference, half of the way, most of them will leave. But today we can see it started with about 50 something, and now we are already about 90 participants,
Oh,
and they are
yeah.
still active. So it shows
Yeah.
that they are eager to see you and get you more information.
Yeah.
If you are
Okay,
willing, okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, previously, okay, because in order for wait, so in order for us to publish the high impact journals, we need to know what is the relation between the journal impact and citation. The more precisely is about the impact assessment. So normally we tend to publish in the high impact factor journals, right? Not. So, but what is high impact factor? I think all of you already know. impact factor is come from the frequency of the citations. So I know this is a very superficial, but currently internationally accepted this method to measure the quality of the journal, because we cannot we cannot say the paper that published in the high impact factor journal must be 100% good or must be 100% bad or whatever. We even the paper that published in the low impact factor journal might have the very good paper as well, that the paper that gain a very high citation as well. So the impact factor, my question here is, you see, the quality of the paper or impact factor, which one is more important? The quality of the paper or impact factors? Because a good high impact journal may also publish the paper which have the low to zero citation as well. Zero citation as well. So that's why the citation impact factor you can get from the journal citation report. Then I think all of you already know what is the impact factor on the area you are working on. So this one I don't want to explain in details. So basically the impact factor is calculated by the total number of citation divided by the number of the article for the last 2 years. This is how we gain the impact factors. So now the question is, high impact journal versus the high quality paper, which one is more important? So for me, the impact of the individual paper is more important than the impact factor. Yeah, the impact factor is one of the guideline. Because some of the paper in the good high quality may have the low and zero citation that I mentioned before. But if the paper is heavily cited by the other authors, this is more valuable than the paper that published in high impact of the journal. Because I mean, your work is successfully get the attention cited by others around the world. I mean, the paper is really can gain the attention. So this one I purposely want to show you this one, the low impact factor journal but higher citation. You see, this paper, heat transfer in nanofluid, the total citation is more than 1,000, but the impact factor of the journal only 1.6. Whether we can say it's only Q3 journal. So whether we can say the journal is not good, but the paper is good or not, this is not. But the paper can be very high quality paper, but it's published in maybe relatively low impact factor journal only. But normally, yes, we tend to publish in the high quality journals. And for this one also, the second one, the impact factor is Q4, it's only 1.3, but the citation, gain the citation about 508. Then this one, in Q4 also, citation 1.3, is the solid biofuel. The only 5 years, the citation is already 168 citation. So those are we can say the high quality paper, but they publish in the paper that ran maybe Q3 or Q4. Doesn't mean that the quality of paper is not good. So the impact factor is just the guideline for us. For example, this one, journal ranking. The progress in energy and combustion science. This one is because I'm mechanical engineer. This one is the rank number 1 article in our area. In mechanical, in chemical as well, in energy and fuel and thermodynamics. But the impact factor is 28.94. We just need to work within our areas, the scope of our area. Because the low impact factor doesn't mean that the journal is not good. For example, the high impact journals, the nature and science have average impact factor of more than 40, but the science and nature journals is for those are working in the pure science, in the pure science, in the multidisciplinary pure science researchers. But for us, it's the engineering and technologies researchers. We just work within our scope. We no need to compare with other people. Yes, it's good. It's good. Good also if we publish, can be published in the Science Natures. But the most importantly, we must know what is the good journal within our research area. For example, I doing the research in energy and science. The progress in energy and combustion science, good journal is my area, and then the energy conversion and management is a good journal in my area, because the energy conversion and management is is rank 3 and Q1 in under the mechanics. Then rank Q1 and rank 11 under the energy and fuel. Then rank number 2 in the thermodynamics. Then when someone asks you, you can say you already published the journal. If you publish in ECM, we can tell people that we already published the journal in rank number 2, journal in our area. Because we just need to work within our area. We don't need to compare, as long as our work is quality work, we don't need to compare with others. What is the impact factor? The impact factor is just the guideline for us only. Then this one is the documented about the citation. Yes, typically the review paper gain more citation compared to full-length articles, but the impact factor is calculated within the 2 years. Within the 2 years. So the progress in energy and combustion science, it has high impact factor because this one basically is the review paper. So that's why you can gain more citation. So that's why the citation is 28. Then the energy conversion and management is accept the full rank paper as well as the review paper. Review paper, I think their review paper only maybe 10%. But they are very good journals as well. Even their impact factor is 8.2, but they rank number 2 in thermodynamics and rank number 3 under the mechanics. So this is what I want to share with you about that, about the impact factors and also the high quality papers. So in short, the high quality paper is more important. We just try to produce the high quality paper, then we choose the suitable journals within our areas. So I think that's all for my sharing today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwai Chuan. There are a few questions. Can we answer for that?
Sure.
Okay, the first question is from Muhaydin Mustafa. How to deal with the private and confidential data, mostly coming from the industry?
Yeah.
Sometimes I got rejection due to unavailable to reveal the details of the process. Thank you.
Yeah, this one is very good. This one have to deal with the industry. We cannot do anything. We have to discuss in detail with the industry partners. Which data can be disclosed, which one cannot. If the data is really cannot disclose, please don't publish. Don't publish because it's against the rule and ethic. It will cause a very serious drawback. So that's why we have to discuss with the industry partner. In what sense we can publish that data? For example, sometime without mentioning the product name or model, they are allowed us to publish. Maybe I'm not sure. This one is very individual. I mean, case to case basis. Have to discuss that with the industry partner. What we can do then? Maybe you can suggest what is the best method in order to publish the data. Maybe some of the data, maybe they are allowed to publish, but some is not. This one only the industry partner know, because I don't know, I cannot answer that question. Discuss back with the industry partner. Yep.
Thank you very much. The next question is from Associate Professor Dr. Liu Pei Jun. Yep. If our paper being rejected by one journal, do we need to revise the content again before submit to another journal?
Okay, this one, we need to know what is the main rejection reason. What is the reason for the reaction? For example, if the reaction after review, for example, after review, you have received a lot or plenty of the comment. Yes, we can improve according to the comment, whichever appropriate, in order to improve the quality of the paper before submit to another journal. Before, because if we submit to another journal immediately without any revision, I can guarantee maybe 99%, I cannot say 100%, 99%, the paper will be get reaction as well. If after review, this one is after review. If the paper rejection because of due to the just not follow the some of the guideline, the formatting or whatever, yeah, this one is after you improve the formatting, you can just directly submit to another journal. We need to see what the reason. Then if some paper is lack of the reject in the by the editorials, due to the lack of the novelty, maybe you can just need to improve the novelty, clearly stated the novelty in the paper, then we submit to another journal, because sometimes the scope and aim of the journal maybe might not suitable, because the might not agree with the contribution or the novelty that you mentioned, because it's not matched with the aim and scope. Now this one you can submit directly. We need to see what is the reason of the rejection. If with the comment, reviewer comment, better to improve, must be improved. Yep. Hope I answer your questions.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
If somebody want to ask any question? Okay, I have one question for Dr. Aliza. Do you publicize your published papers? Because most journals do not share the papers publicly due to their policy. Or can we aim to write for journals who open their database to the public? That means the open access journal.
I mean, sorry, I not really understand the question.
Okay, I read the question again.
Yeah, sure.
Do you publicize your published papers? Because most journals do not share the papers publicly due to their policy. Or can we aim to write for journals who open their database to the public?
Yeah. We cannot publicize or cannot publish our paper openly. Cannot. This one is not allowed. But sometimes this one is within our group. Is sometimes if someone requests for my paper or whatever, I will share with them. Privately, not openly. Privately, yep. I will send it privately. I do not publicize my paper openly. No. This one is again the copyright.
Okay, thank you very much. And then one more question from Dr. Hambali.
Yes.
Why is that a journal requires us to include a co-author from institution from overseas and our industry?
Okay. This one, yeah. In order to answer is a bit, not to say complicated. Okay, we need to know the background. Because normally, in order for them to listed in the ISI journal, ISI index journal, the authors from the authors must be from around the world. Cannot just from one part of the country. For example, mainly it come from Malaysia or whatever. So that's why maybe it's required you to add the co-author. But if you think it is unnecessary to add the co-author, because we cannot just simply include any authors for our paper. This is unethical. you don't agree that request. We don't need to agree that request because they ask this because of they have some requirements for the journals in order to accept in ISI or whatever or some index journals. They must have the authors from around the world, cannot just from one country. So that's why maybe this might be the reason. But if someone ask you to add them as a co-author, add someone co-author without any scientific reason, don't approve. For me, very simple. Don't approve. Not approve them. Not agree. Yeah, we can reject them.
Thank you. There is a comment on that regarding Ahmad Ford, our colleague. So actually, yes, you can. Every journal has its embargo period. Once the period is over for the free access, then you can publish your paper.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Yeah, I think we can come to a conclusion because it's a very long session starting from morning 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we can see you are spending your energy fully with your full efforts. We sincerely thank you on behalf of the University Technical Malaysia Malacca
Yeah.
as a university and as our faculty of manufacturing and mechanical engineering technology.
Okay.
And you are very kind enough when our colleague Dr. Ikwan contacted you at first.
Yeah.
Immediately you accepted our invitation.
Yeah.
And then it is one of the long session for the research starting from the basics of what is a research article and then how to publish to the end.
Yeah.
We are very happy to have you with you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And for the participant request, can we have your slides, please? If possible, you can kindly share it to our host, Dr. Ikwan, who can later on collect it from you and then we all can get it. If you if you are willing to do that.
Yeah, sure. Later on, I will compile my slide then send to Dr. Ikwan.
Okay, thank you very much. And then with everybody as an organizing team, with our Dean, Associate Professor Dr. Omar, and then our Deputy Dean, Ayah Dr. PM Dr. Muhammad Hazri, and our journal team, Dr. Matsura, and then Dr. Ikwan and myself. Thank you very much for the speaker, for the wonderful session and a useful session, and also for all the participants who are here from morning until now. Thank you very much for your support and hope we will take one more time in the next session. And kindly be there for 1 minute, and if possible you can come up with your video to be shown so that we can take a picture of it and keep it as our record. So for all the participants, for a kind request, please open up your video, start your video to show your face so that we can take a screenshot to keep our records. Thank you very much for your kind support. Now it is a photo shoot. And our host here, Dr. Ikwan, is taking the picture. Please show your faces.
Yep. So I hope my talk can help you all. So if anything, you can contact me through my email.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So only half of the participants are coming into the video mode. Can we request still more can join? Thank you, Dr. Ola. You can see Dr. Okay, thank you.
Looks like Miss Nuzaima is in Sydney also, wearing a winter coat.
So who is in Sydney?
No, just joking with this Miss Nuzaima because she's wearing a winter coat in our office, showing that the office is more is hotter than Sydney.
Yeah, but actually now Sydney is spring. It's spring now.
Spring, right?
Yeah, it's spring now. Yeah, turn to spring. But last 2 months very cold for me.
So
Freestyle
Malaysia is
photo,
very
please.
cold, you know. You see?
Malaysia very cold. Inside, yeah, Malaysia indoor is very cold. I tell you, I know.
Okay, give your freestyle, please. Freestyle picture, please. I will. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks for your kind participation.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
all.
Very good job, speaker and
Thank you.
organizers. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hana.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That was a very good job.